Welcome to the deep dive. We unpack the stories shaping our world, turning information into insight. Today we're diving into a really fascinating narrative. It shows how economic policies, things that seem miles away, can actually weave a very personal story of, well, boom and bust. We're exploring this through the Chen family and their textile mill, Sunrise Weave, in a town called Willow Creek. Our source for this is a captivating account. It's titled The Loom of Shadows.
Right, and our mission really is for you to grasp these unseen threads of global trade and the surprising, sometimes devastating ripple effects when, those threads get pulled. We'll look at not just what happened to Sunrise Weave, but really why it mattered so deeply to that whole community, connecting those dots, from big policy decisions right down to people's everyday lives.
Okay, let's jump in. So the story opens with Sunrise Weave doing really well. At its peak, you walk into the mill, and there's this aroma of freshly woven linen. The source calls it the scent of home for the Chens. It's a multi-generational thing, humming along. Their global trade was, well, robust, sending quality fabrics everywhere, Europe, Asia.
They really believed in this quiet strength of interconnectedness, that their success was tied up with the world, and you've got young Anya, just out of design school, full of ideas, ready to, step up.
Exactly. And that seamless global trade, it was just their lifeblood.
But maybe so normal, they didn't see the vulnerability. Then comes this distant drumbeat, political pressure building for tariffs. Now, initially this was aimed at helping struggling domestic steelmakers. That was the stated goal, protecting jobs there.
Right, but on his father, Chen, he kind of waved it off. The source quotes him saying, "It's for steel, Anya. We weave cloth. It won't touch us."
Which really makes you think, doesn't it? How often do we underestimate those ripple effects, assuming a policy over there won't hit us here?
Yeah, and that dismissal, well, it proved tragically wrong because the government, kind of emboldened by the steel tariffs and citing a worsening trade balance.
Which, just for clarity, usually means importing way more than exporting, often seen as a weakness politically.
Right. So they expanded the protectionism. New tariffs got slapped on imported dyes and specialized machinery, the very things Sunrise Weave needed for their quality. Almost overnight, their own prices, the domestic consumer prices for their fabrics, started to, well, creep up.
And this is so important. Tariffs on inputs, dyes, machines, they hit manufacturers like Sunrise Weave hard. They don't shield a final product. They just hike up the cost of making it. Makes them less competitive, even at home. The immediate impact. Production costs soared and consumer demand started to shrink.
You can almost hear that local shop owner, right, telling Anya regretfully, "Look, we just can't move this stuff at these prices. People are tightening their belts."
Exactly. It shows that basic economic point. Price goes too high. Even for something like textiles, people stop buying. Or buy less. It wasn't just the Chens feeling it. The whole town started feeling that squeeze.
And then the final blow. The really devastating one. Those countries that used to buy Sunrise Weave's fabrics, they hit back. Retaliatory tariffs, making the Chen's textiles way too expensive overseas. So those foreign orders, once the lifeblood of their prosperity, they just vanished.
Gone. A brutal double hit. Couldn't compete effectively at home because of input costs, couldn't sell abroad because of retaliation. And the human cost, it's stark in the source material. Loyal employees, these are friends, neighbors Anya grew up with, they had to be laid off.
Yeah, the book says each farewell felt like a stitch unraveling from the fabric of her own heart. Just imagine having those conversations, watching your community, your family's legacy just come apart.
And if you zoom out to Willow Creek itself, you see the broader pattern. Global trade volume plummeted, and domestic employment across Willow Creek dropped too. It wasn't just the mill. The description is vivid. The once bright market square dimmed, shops boarded up, dusty shadows instead of colorful displays.
Sunrise Weave. It went from being this beacon of prosperity to a symbol of a promise broken.
And what's really striking is the political talk continued, promising recovery through more protection. But down at Willow Creek, all it seemed to do was deepen this cycle of decline. It really highlights that disconnect, doesn't it, between broad policy aims and the specific, sometimes fragile reality on the ground for industries like textiles. The intention versus the actual outcome.
So wrapping this up, what does it all mean for you? We've journeyed through how Anya's dreams, her family's business, and entire town's well-being were all tangled up in these complex threads of trade and policy.
And it leaves us with a question to think about. When policies are designed to protect one specific area, what unseen threads might they be pulling elsewhere? potentially unraveling the larger fabric of a community, or even global connections. The source calls it a tragedy woven not by fate, but by human hands, pulling on threads without understanding the whole intricate design.
A really powerful thought to leave you with. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and thanks for taking this deep dive with us.